Hey, friends, welcome to another episode of Little Black Dress Pod. We actually probably will cross promote this to the making of community as well. I'm
Yay.
your co host, Ashley Hovez, and I am super excited to introduce a freaking up and coming rising star in the
Oh my
dental
God.
field. Like, I swear, this woman, she just graduated not that long ago. Um, we're going to get into this, but she has had a following, like she grew her following as a a pharmacy student who then switched careers, went into dental, and she's just paving the way. Like I feel like whenever I just get this warm and fuzzy feeling just knowing that the future of dentistry is this person and people just like her. And without further ado, I would like to welcome Dr. Connie Wang. Connie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. That was kind of like out of body having you say all those nice things. I'm like, should I make that my recording that I wake up to every morning? Because like it doesn't feel that way for me. And you are someone that I've looked up to, Dr. Ashley, for so long, like
Okay,
literally since
please do
I
not
was
call me Dr.
okay,
Ashley.
fine, just Ashley. I'll just call you Ashley. But here's the thing, for me, I'm just like, wow, my like idol just said all that about me. So thank you so much because the feeling goes both ways.
You're amazing. And oh my gosh. Okay, so we we're gonna get into so much because I just love what you're all about. Like you're just so inspiring and people are just gravitating to you for so many reasons. And but before we get into that, because this is the LBD and the making of podcast, we're gonna kick it off with a oh my gosh, I didn't even do your guest intro. Dude, Colin's gonna kill me.
Wait,
You're like,
what guest intro? I thought that was the guest intro.
oh, that was just my off the cuff intro because
Oh, you hit all the points. You're good, girl. You are
no,
good. No
no,
need.
you definitely deserve a real intro. So
So,
so sorry, Colin. She like wrote this out for me too. Okay. So, Connie Wang is a Boston based dentist hailing from Southern Rhode Island, where she first obtained her doctorate of pharmacy before pursuing dentistry. From a young age, she knew she was a chatty Cathy that loved to share her experiences with others. So, she began blogging her life going from pharmacy to dental school on her Instagram page at Dr. Connie Wang. As she began working as a new dentist fresh out of school, she saw, oh my gosh, that's like a tongue twister. She saw the shocking reality that the most important part of her day as a dentist was not something taught in school. Yep, which was the art of communications. So she set out to learn as much as she could and share her knowledge with others. She is the host of a podcast and email newsletter, Just a Quick Pinch, where she shares these communication tips, her favorite phrases, tactics, and patient stories, as well as upbeat small talk news stories for young women in healthcare. I love that intro. I'm going to have you write my intro also, Connie.
Oh my God, I would be honored, except it would be like 5 pages long because I could just go
Stop.
on and on.
I think it's just further proof that I'm a squirrel and I just want so many things.
Oh, that's
Okay.
so funny.
All right. So, this or that, because we're going to kick it off with an icebreaker.
Love it.
Instagram or TikTok?
I'm an Instagrammer. What are you?
I am also an Instagrammer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Manicure or pedicure?
Oh, manicure. Have you? I'm like kind of obsessive about my nails.
I think that is exactly why Colin put this in because she knows.
Colin did.
You,
She's part of my
Colin.
club of girlies that loves the nails. I
I
love her. Tell her I said hi too. Well,
I
she's listening
will.
to
Well,
this.
she'll be listening to this.
Yes.
Um, yeah, you guys have so much in common. Okay, Veil or Sonoma?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I'm going to say Vale because I'm excited to go. Sonoma was my first time though going there. So both are fantastic. I'm excited to see what Vale has.
I'm excited to host you. It's going to be
Mhm.
amazing. Okay, Justin Bieber or Harry Styles?
Oh my God. I am so 100% Bieber. Like, they can have styles. Like, I mean, he's cool and all, but like, I'm so Justin Bieber. What
I
about you?
am a Bieber fan. I'm a
Hmm.
believer as
Yep,
well.
yep.
Okay, Justin Bieber or Justin Timberlake?
Oh, that is tough. Because I also, you know what? If you're asking me this right now,
Yeah.
I'm saying Justin Bieber. He's kind of like his career has aged well. Justin Timberlake, like his new song's okay and all, but I just feel like I don't know. I almost feel bad because he was so good at one point, and now like he doesn't have as much hype besides like us, the OG people. Like I want the new kids to understand, like, no, he was like it. So currently Bieber, but it pains me to say that.
I, huh. I don't like if I had to choose who I would want to see in concert at this moment, I would probably say JT because
Mm.
I've heard amazing things. Although I did hear that he didn't play a lot of his old school stuff, which is crazy
Oh,
to me.
really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay. Do you remember what you said for your party trick?
Oh my god, yeah, but I don't have a party trick. Can I just say that question for someone that's like shared so much of her life on the internet? I was so embarrassed by how long it took me to come up with an answer. I was like da 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 answering all the other questions, and then I
Yeah.
got to that one, and I was like, I have like nothing fun. I am like the most. Should I share what my party trick is, or do you want to
Okay.
share it?
Well, no, I think you should share. Okay, so we have Connie and every guest fill out an LBD questionnaire before they start, and one of the questions is, "What is your party trick?" Okay, now I feel like you just have to describe what your party trick is.
Okay, so I was just trying to answer something, but like my party trick, like my fun fact is like when I go to parties, I don't know what it is, what like my aura is. I always, without fail, end up in a corner with someone that's like telling me their entire life story, all of their childhood trauma. I welcome it too, by the way. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I just catch myself every party like chips and guac being like, how did I end up here? Like talking about like childhood traumas, their biggest dreams, and why they haven't achieved their biggest dreams yet. So I just think in my past life, like I was either a therapist or a guidance counselor, because like there's something that causes people to do that at parties with me. And I don't think I'm projecting that energy. It just happens.
Okay, would you describe yourself as an empath?
Yes. Wait, have you done Myers-Briggs? What are you?
I haven't. I
You
haven't.
have to do that test. Do you know that
I
test I'm
need
talking
to.
about?
I do know. I haven't taken it only because I don't want to pay for it.
No, you don't have to pay for it. I've
What?
never paid for it. Yeah, okay, so go online, Google Myers-Briggs, like MYER, and then Briggs with two G's. It's
Okay.
free. You can do it. We are
Oh,
probably very similar. Just remember this for when you take it. I
okay.
think we're very similar, but I am an ENFP.
ENFP. Okay, can you describe what those letters are?
Yes. So the reason why I think we're the same thing is because we are the E means we are. Oh shoot, now I'm embarrassing myself because I don't know if the E is empath or extroverted. I think it's like empath or something. No, 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 it's extroverted. We are extroverted. The N means we are intuitive.
Okay.
The F means we are feelings, and the P means we are perceptions, which basically means we are very like I feel people's energy. I'm not so much I guess I'm like less of a logistics girly. I feel things and I go off of my intuition, and we also have like 10,000 different ideas and
You're
10,000
twin.
different interests.
Okay.
Hmm.
I am gonna take this
Yes,
tonight.
please do.
I'm gonna take it
You
just
should
so
have your team take it too, because like people do these for their businesses, and then they kind of like assign and analyze people based off of their traits.
okay. It's I'm doing it.
Yeah.
We've been doing we've been doing the Enneagrams for the team.
I wait. What is your enneagram? I love enneagrams.
I'm a 7.
Okay,
What are you?
I'm a 3, I believe.
An
Although
achiever?
I should retake that. Yeah, you know what? I want to retake that now that I'm a dentist because I feel like so much of my life and identity has changed now that I am not a student anymore.
Mm, yeah. It's like we're evolving or something.
Right. It's like I'm getting older.
We're getting older. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna take that and you're gonna take the Enneagram again.
One more
Okay,
time, yep.
so finish this sentence, Connie. One thing that most people don't know about me is
Yes. Okay, so one thing that most people don't know about me is when I was in high school, actually, for a couple of years, I ran a magazine column in a Chinese magazine, and I talked about my life as a Chinese American or an American born Chinese girl. So I shared with, my readers. I don't know, by the way, how many people read this. So let me just point that out there. Like, I don't know like if anyone even read this, but I was writing to them every month, and I would write about like extracurriculars, what we do over here, what I eat, what I hang out with my friends, what things we're loving. It was essentially like a lifestyle blog for Chinese girls out there. I believe the magazine was for like the Chinese teens to get a glimpse into life in America. So every month I would sit down, write a passage, and then my dad would sit down with me and then we would translate it into Chinese. So there would be both an English version and a Chinese version. And you know what the funniest thing is I tell this story now because I want to be like, yeah, that was my first like experience blogging. Like that paved the way. Can I just say when I was 16, I hated doing it. I was like, this is homework. This feels like there was something like once I was writing, I loved it. But let's be honest, I was a 16-year-old teen. So I was like, my dad was like, you got to write your monthly thing. And I was like, come on, dad. Like, I want to go to the movies with like Rebecca. And then he'd be like, nope, you got to write it first. So I'd be like, oh, okay. And then so I would sit down, write it. By the end of it, I'd be like, wow, that was like so fun. Like, I don't know why I hated doing it. Uh, and I think that set the important scene for me of the discipline because now I release a weekly podcast and a weekly newsletter. And you physically cannot stop me from staying on task. Like, I have to do it because I feel the need to be so disciplined. I think it comes from that experience.
Okay, so that is something that I think I need to have more of you if because I am the queen of not discipline. Um,
No, I feel you. Like I literally am like that in so many other realms. It's just this. It's just like my trauma of sitting at the kitchen table with my dad being like, "You have to do it." I'm like, "Okay."
would you would you classify your parents as tiger parents?
You know what's so funny is I'm painting this picture as if they are, but they're not. They're kind of like hippies, to be honest, for Asian
Really?
parents. Yes, and I think that's how I ended up how I am is because so some family backstory. My older sister, she's 10 years older than me. She is like the perfect Asian child, like valedictorian of everything, medical doctor, dermatologist. Like she's always been
Hey,
so type A. And
yeah.
so for years, my mom raising her, she had to be like the opposite of a tiger mom for my sister. She had to be like, can you please like stop studying, like it's okay if you get like a B. And because of that, I think with me she was like probably like with me she probably like wanted to be more uptight with me because I was very type B, just wanted to hang out with my friends, like Americanized. And so they were kind of like but I think because they raised my sister who was so type A, they kind of took a more hippie approach being like it's okay, like follow your passions, do what you love. Luckily, the things that I was naturally drawn to and love are like within the like I wasn't like I want to go become a painter, you know. I was like I want to become like a doctor, a dentist. They were like good, you know, like this was in the realm of good things. But no,
Nice.
they weren't tiger parents.
Oh man. Well, I could I mean I if you guys don't already hear, between the two of us, we could talk for days. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. I love it. We're like two little
um,
squirrels.
we really are. And Connie interviewed me on her podcast also. So
Hmm.
make sure to go check that out too. But it's really cool just to like hear your story, Connie, as an Asian American woman. And I want to ask you, like, how did your parents um react when you told them that you didn't want to be a pharmacist and that you were now changing careers? Like,
Yeah,
that's
you know the funny thing is a lot of people have asked me this before, and the answer is they were so supportive, but it's because they always knew. They knew before I knew that I wasn't going to be happy as a pharmacist. So let me just explain even how I ended up in this situation.
okay.
So when I was in high school, I knew ever since I was young, I imagined myself someday like the white coat helping people feel better. So naturally, my thought process was, okay, let's like go to become a doctor and whatnot, right? But the thing is, I was not like my sister. I was not a straight A student. I was very like distracted, chatty. I just had so much energy as a teen. And so that translated as I didn't get the straight A's. I wasn't like top of my class. And so when it was time to apply to colleges, I honestly like couldn't get into like any of these like there were a lot of like these pre like medical programs where you go straight into like medical school after. I couldn't get like accepted to that. And so I was like, okay, well, what's the next best route? And so full transparency, I had free tuition to go to the college, my state school, because my parents both work there. They have, which in hindsight, I'm like, this is a fantastic thing that more people need to know about. Check if your state school, if you work at there as an employee, they might get free tuition. Have you heard of this before?
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, so for your kids, like if you end up working at a school, or something like that, if you end up teaching, they get some sort of, I don't think dental schools do that,
Oh,
um, which would be awesome. But so naturally, the first thought in my head was just, let's go with what's financially feasible then, if I'm not like this A plus student getting all these scholarships or whatever, let's do what's financially feasible. So I went to my state school, and at my state school, there were a couple different healthcare programs, but like this program, the advanced pharmacy program, was like top of like so many different pharmacy programs. It was like it was definitely one of the best programs in the state, if not like in the country even. It's a very high ranked program. So my parents were like, you know what? Let's just shoot our shot for this like really prestigious, good program. Like, and you'll have free tuition, you'll learn, you'll take the same prereqs. And if you don't want to be a pharmacist, you can still switch out when you're doing the undergrad portion. Like you don't have to go to the pharmacy school part, but just start your undergrad here where you'll have free tuition. So I was like, sure. I was kind of like, yeah, like I'll probably switch out. Then I get to college. And the thing is, Ashley, I loved college. I loved college. Did you like college? I had so much fun.
I didn't at first, but
Mm,
after I met my group of friends and then I met Brian,
mm.
then I really enjoyed it. Where did you go for college?
So I went to the University of Rhode Island. They
Oh,
have like a fantastic pharmacy program. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is when you do those, it's like 2 years of undergrad, you get accepted straight out of high school. It's 2 years of undergrad and then 4 years of pharmacy school. No PCAT, it's like the DAT. Like you don't have to take those exams. You just need a certain GPA and then
gotcha.
you'll go in. And so what the benefit of this is that you kind of go into college with a set group of friends already made, basically, because you just hang out with the pharmacy people. And so from day one, I was in this environment where like I loved, like I made my best friends of like all these years. I'm still best friends with so many of them, and so I all of a sudden got caught up in this whirlwind of being like, oh my God, I love pharmacy, because it wasn't the pharmacy. I was like, I love my friends and I love college and I love the camaraderie and I love the science. Like I just kind of thought that, okay, no, this is good. This is easier actually for me to just stay in this program and just ride out into the sunset and become a pharmacist, until I actually started my first year of like actual pharmacy school. And I was like, oh, this really is not it. Like I remember sitting in class and I just felt like a fish out of water. Like my classmates would think things are so cool. And I would think like learning about some of the conditions was kind of cool. But then the second it got to anything related to like pharmacology, dosing, like the actual pharmacist stuff, I remember my head glazing over the notes and being like, oh, someone else can worry about that. And I remember the moment sitting in the library with my friends, and then I was just like, sorry, that's my dog. Like she's trying to get into the door. Um, I remember, I want to say it was like January. I was sitting in the library, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. I'm studying to be that person that has to worry about this stuff. I was like, oh no, like that's the part I don't want to learn. And then that kind of set me on this existential crisis for the rest of the summer. But what ended up happening, I always say like your biggest failures are your biggest opportunities. Have you ever been like fired or let go or rejected from something that like really like broke you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It's like a what's the word? A rhetorical question, right? Because we all have to get here, right? What
Yeah.
was your like big heartbreak kind of rejection thing?
Oh, dear God. I mean, like my professional one was when I got fired, and that was right before I did the Facebook Live announcing I was doing it.
Yes, that's right. You told me on your podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was like my my biggest heartbreak that I never thought I would ever publicly talk about. And
Hmm.
that's what became this pivotal moment of my career and life.
Isn't
So,
that incredible though? How like that is the catalyst, right?
yep.
And so that's kind of what happened for me. So I was a summer orientation leader, and that was like my identity. I loved that job so much. I felt like that job really like shaped me a lot into who I am today. But what happened was I did not get rehired for the position. And like kind of a lot of you usually get rehired. So I essentially got fired. I can read between the lines. I got fired. And that really broke me. It shook me. And so that summer, when I would have normally been an orientation leader, go, 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 living my life, I was at home just sitting there watching the rest of my friends do the thing.
Oh,
And the important thing to take from this though was this was the first time in my college life where I was home alone, just me and my parents, like not with my friends, not distracted with plans. I was really able to think, okay, like where is my life going? And that's when I had that rude awakening. Like, I'm not liking what I'm studying. I kind of just chose this path because of the tuition, the free tuition, and then I just chose it because it was convenient and I liked my friends. But I didn't actually choose to be a pharmacist. I never, that's not my dream.
Right.
And that summer, also, my sister happened to be graduating from her dermatology residency. And I'll never forget sitting in this like nice auditorium, and the dermatology, the now dermatologists are standing up there holding their diplomas, beaming because they're so proud. And the parents in the audience are so proud. And I just remember looking around being like, this is so incredible that they are so inspirational and went for their dreams. And I was like, I need to like go for my dreams. Like, I'm not going for my dreams right now. And I deserve to be, happy just like them. And I deserve to be putting myself out there. I just felt like in that moment, I was like, wow, I'm not living my life. I'm living like a life that I just kind of casually rolled into. And so that summer, I did a lot of introspective thinking. And one of the things I did just to kind of cope, it wasn't intentional. I just naturally really loved arts and crafts. So I started painting more and doing little knickknack kind of craft things. And one day I went to the basement and I saw we were holding a lot of like artwork that my sister and her brother-in-law, or my brother-in-law made. And he's a dentist. And something about the way I was looking at that, like painting of an iguana, I got to thank him for making that picture of an iguana, because like that was what started it all. I looked at that iguana painting and I was like, Mike likes to paint and he seems happy as a dentist. Maybe I should become a dentist. Like, I'm not even kidding. That is like how I decided, which,
Right.
yeah, which now that I'm a dentist, I'm like, oh my God, that's what I based it off of. Like, that was so irresponsible of me, because like life is not just painting right now.
Okay. So, let me just back up for just a second. So, you actually completed pharmacy school, though.
Yes, yeah. Reason being, I listen, when it was that summer, I would have done anything to quit. I was like, let me leave, let me go become a dentist, because now all of a sudden the plans were in motion. I was like, there's
Yeah.
something new and shiny out there. And I
Gotcha.
talked to my brother-in-law, the one that did the painting, and he was like, you know what, you should finish the program. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, I don't want to finish and be here. It's torture. Like, you're subjecting me to like 3 or 4 more years of torture. And he was like, no, you like get this degree, it's going to help you.
Oh my God.
And I think he was thinking of it more like you'll have a degree to have as a backup.
Oh my gosh.
But
Yeah.
for me, in hindsight, it was like a character building MBA almost. Like, it taught me how to persist and thrive and work hard, even on the things you're not super passionate about. It just like changed me as a person.
So, okay. So, how old were you when you finished pharmacy school?
I was 23 or 24.
24. And then you went straight into dental school after?
Yes, yeah. Basically, I did. So your fourth year of pharmacy school is you're on rotations throughout hospitals and stuff. So I treated it as like a gap year almost. So I
Okay.
would just like work on my dental school applications. I took the DAT in the middle of like pharmacy school, and like that was my application year basically.
Oh my gosh. Most people can't like would never want to redo like dental school or like any kind of
Hmm.
professional program. I can't imagine doing two. Like that's crazy, especially when you already knew that pharmacy was not your passion, but you stuck with it. That is
Yes.
how disciplined you are. Holy smokes.
But you know what the crazy thing is? Like, before I decided where I want to go, I had no plan, right? So my grades were like straight up like C's, B's, like maybe an A here and there. I just internalized it as like, oh, I'm a bad student. That's just like who I am. I'm not like those other people that get the A's. Once I had that plan in mind, like, oh no, I need to do well because I need to get out of here to become a dentist. It was like A's, A's, A's. And that just taught me like, oh, it wasn't me. It was like I didn't have the plan in mind. I didn't have the vision, so I didn't have the drive. This is my message for anyone listening. Once you have the drive, you can really achieve anything. Like, people always say, like, how did you do that? It sounds so hard. Like, I had no choice. You just kind of wake up and do it. And then before you know it, you get through it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so walk me through like where this vlogging came from. Like how into like when did it start and like how did you grow your following? Like I am so like inspired by the storytelling, like your storytelling. So and this is like perfect for like marketing too. So you guys take notes. Um, yeah,
You're so
yeah.
sweet.
No, Connie, like seriously, how did you grow your audience? Like, where did it come from? Where did you
It's like
start?
so funny that you feel this way about me because I have a totally different take. I'm like, oh my god, no one cares about me. I'm like washed up and I have a totally different take on it. But the way it came to be was at the time when people were slowly in like pharmacy school finding out that I was going to become a dentist, I felt kind of like a little embarrassed. I don't know why. I think it's because it's when you're at that age, like when you're 20, like early 20s, right? You kind of you always in life, you never realize how young you actually are. You never realize how much time you actually have. So back then, when people were whispering, like, oh, she's going to become a dentist, I felt embarrassed because I was like, oh, I failed at being a pharmacist. I am behind everyone else. I'm going to be starting all over again. Excuse me, all over again. And so I had this narrative in my head. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm feeling embarrassed about this, let me just take it by the reins and control the narrative. Fine, then I'm going to put it out there and I can help other people with this story. Because if I feel embarrassed about this, I'm sure there's other people out there, pharmacy or not, it could be any career, feeling unsure, feeling like they're the only ones that want to change their career. Like, I can't be the only one. Other people need to know that we're out here. So I started the page purely just to document, like, it's okay to change your mind and it's okay to start all over again, which is funny now because I'm like, girl, you were like so young. Like, what? I'm still so young. Like, what was I afraid of? I'm not behind. But I started out as that. And then I think I've always felt the need in our profession to share a type of like vulnerable voice of what it feels like, because in our profession there's a lot of things at play. First of all, if you are too like emotional or if you are too like open, people think that's a sign of weakness. They think you need to be like stoic and serious to be like considered successful. And so I wanted to show like, no, you can be successful, but like you can express your feelings too. You can be warm and open, and you can, most importantly, you can share your failures. That's one of the things that I took away from our retreat. Was I was sitting there in that room and we were having a segment talking about all of our failures. You were sharing a particularly moving case and we were all crying. And I remember being like, this is what we need more of in this world, like the tears and the bonding.
My gosh. Well, thank you so much for that. We're going to talk about the retreat, I'm sure, before we wrap, but so
Mm-hmm.
you started your Instagram page and you started sharing the story. Like, so you weren't even trying to really grow an audience. You were just like sharing what you knew, which is like, this is me and I'm switching careers. And if you are anywhere, and if you're in my shoes, or if you can identify with anything that I'm talking about, then this is me. Take it or leave it. And I love that so much. I think there's so much power in storytelling. Like
Thank you.
really
Yes.
letting people in and seeing the real Connie, the real Ashley. And I totally agree. I don't think there's enough of that. Like, I think
Mm.
so much of it is like the highlight reel, I always
Mm-hmm.
say. And it is tough because once you start like growing your business and you want to attract a certain clientele,
Right.
you don't want to tell patients like, oh yeah, I freaking hate people sometimes.
I know. That's the thing. That's the thing I'm trying to reconcile now with. And I think when you're a student, it's almost easier to blog because it's okay to be like, yeah, I didn't do good on that test, right?
Yeah.
But now that I'm a real doctor, I'm like,
Oh
oh, like I
yeah,
don't want my patients to know like certain things, you
exactly.
know. But
Well,
then
you
how do
are,
you draw that line of being honest with your fellow peers
yeah.
too?
Um, exactly. Like, you want to talk about like the tough shit that and I
Oh, I'm sorry.
we're an explicit podcast, so you can curse if you want.
Okay.
Want to talk about the tough shit. Like, I was looking at your post, and
Mhm.
you had a tough case with a client, a patient, and I
Mhm.
know you got a bit emotional about it, and I was like, oh my gosh, Connie's amazing. Like, she's sharing this, and it's tough. Like, is do you think that well, one, if you don't feel comfortable talking about the case,
Oh,
you
don't worry. I'm like an open book.
oh, okay. So like, what happened with that particular patient? If you
Yeah,
don't
so there were a couple things at play. One was I had seen a patient that had a crown delivery gone wrong, for lack of a better word. And it wasn't one of my crowns, but the thing is, when people show up, it doesn't really matter when they're in pain. So, like, the crown came off, freshly delivered from someone else, and they were in a lot of pain. And so they were reacting very reactively, for less of a better word. And I think this case got to me because I pride myself on like connecting with people and being able to work in these situations. And no matter what I was trying, it wasn't working. Maybe I was having a bad day too. And so the patient was like so upset. And then after, I was talking things over with my boss, who was awesome, very supportive. But we were talking through it. And you know how sometimes when people say things that are true, but you don't want to believe them, it hurts a little more.
Yeah.
So we were talking about how, like, I really could have handled this better. And I think that's where I was coming from, was the place of hurt, was being like, oh no, like, as much as I want to say like, oh, there was nothing I could have said to like make it better, you can always improve, right? And so I felt kind of disappointed in myself. I felt like I had failed, and it hurt extra because it gave me a little bit more imposter syndrome then to show up the next day and be like, "Hi, I'm like a communications like specialist," when I'm not. Like, but something that I talked through today actually with my therapist, I mentioned that I did struggle with that. She was like, "No, Connie, like that's your story because you need to go through these falters to learn from your mistakes." That adds credibility to you. You don't want like a mentor that's never struggled, right? You want the mentor that's been through it all, that can admit, hey, I could have handled this better. And so I'm walking away from that one being like, you know what, that's a learning opportunity for me to be better for all my future patients. Um, but yeah, that's basically what happened. And I think the gist of the story I wanted to say too was, in healthcare, like, it's not always going to be your fault, but it is kind of your problem because, yeah, I didn't deliver that crown, but now it's my turn to change it around and give the patient a good experience, right?
Oh my gosh. And it's crazy because it will have, 100 5-star reviews. And it really is the
Yes.
one that keeps you up at night. And it sucks.
Literally this one person. And it's
Yes.
so funny because I'm like, like, you think, I don't know. I think certain people, certain cases, we have to remember we're people, right? So we come in, we have our own little triggers that we all try to work through. That's why I think everyone should have a therapist, because I unpack so much, and you don't realize who's going to say something that is perfectly fine to say, like whatever, but it hits you a certain way. And so the crazy thing about becoming a dentist, I've learned, is through the act of taking care of other people, I'm learning so much more about myself, my blind spots, my weaknesses, my triggers.
I love that so much. And thank you for sharing that you see a therapist. I feel
Of
like that
course.
feels like a taboo subject for so many people.
Right.
And then
It it
oh,
it is. And but the thing is, I feel like when we are like providers, we say like, oh, we need to help people through the emotional times in their life, right? How are we going to do that when we're not like emotionally regulated ourselves, right?
well, how long have you been seeing a therapist?
This is actually a new thing as of this past new year. The reason why I started it was, my first 6 months, I kind of just wanted to get a footing on things. But then starting the new year, I realized I was like, I just started realizing like certain things would trigger me, or I would feel very reactive. And I'm like, you know what? There's something to unpack there. And unless I get myself good, I'm never going to be able to get to the next level of helping my patients.
100%. Well, in line with therapy and in line with just being, more open about like the struggles, I want to segue into
Yes.
Noma, because that was actually the first time that Connie and I met in person.
Hmm.
And it was so cool to meet. And it's also the last time that we saw each other.
I
So the
know,
the
right?
first and the last time, Connie, until this year's retreat. But like, what were your thoughts? Because obviously, I'm sure have you been to other dental conferences before?
Nothing nearly the same caliber as yours. Nothing, like, they might as well not be the same events. So
Oh,
let me just like jump into it. This is how
okay.
I felt. First of all, I was so lucky because I got to go with like two of my best friends from
Yeah.
dental school, right? So I hop off the plane, I reunite with them. This is just therapeutic in itself because we're talking in the hotel room, like, how have your first few months been? Like, oh my God, yeah, that does suck too. Like, I haven't even met anyone at the conference yet, but you already facilitated this awesome like experience, right? Then we go into like the big breakout session, and growing up, I actually used to be like kind of a little shy, but then somewhere along the way, I just learned like, you know what, people are good. You just need to put yourself out there. And so I kind of just like mustered up the courage and I started talking to people. And the type of people that you attract, Ashley, in this group are so phenomenal. Like these are the best mentors, the best people. Everyone embraced us. I thought like as a new grad, like people wouldn't really like care to speak to us. I don't know why I thought that. It's just, you feel like the freshman in school. So you're just kind of like, oh, I'm not going to know anyone. Like, I'm kind of nervous. But then you just go out there. And then I met so many friends that we instantly like followed each other on Instagram that day.
Like,
And then once we started to get to the real meat of the content, that was where the transformation was. Christian Kochman, he was the first presentation. He is like an icon in our field. And I feel like his speech was transformational for me for two reasons. One, the topics he was talking about got me so excited about dentistry. But two, he asked us, what is your 5-year plan? Or like, where do you see yourself in the future? I think it's so important to give dentists like us a place and a time to think about that. But in our day to day, we're not. So instantly, Christian Coachman just gave us like 5 minutes just to sit and think about where we were all going. And it was in that moment, actually, where I realized I was like, I want to be like you, Christian Coachman. Like, I want to be up there traveling and speaking to other people and impacting people the way you have. And honestly, I know it was just the first presentation of the whole thing, but that set me on the trajectory of being like, okay, I know where I want to take Just a Quick Pinch now. Um, so that was really transformational. And then, I mean, Kyle Stanley, like, he was fantastic. I was like, basically crying practically throughout, like from his to yours. Like, I didn't expect to cry so much, but I left that conference being like, damn, I love dentists. We work so hard. We're so like unseen and underappreciated. We got to stick up for each other because we are a beautiful group of people that are trying to do good for this world. And we're all struggling. And I think something about that was really beautiful. Like I literally, I don't know if I was supposed to tell my patient this, but my first patient, when I landed after the retreat, he was like, oh, how was that big conference you were like telling me about? And I told him as I'm like doing his class 2 filling, like he can't even say anything back because his mouth is open. I was like, I realized, like, I never realized dentists, we have so much trauma and we go through so much. And like, it just taught me, like, I need to connect more with other dentists to share this because no one else can understand. And he's like, cool. Like, like I was just way oversharing with this poor man, but I love this patient. So he's great. He handled it well, but I was like trauma dumping on him. And that was the big takeaway that I took from the conference was like, wow, I freaking love dentists and we all need a little bit more love for each other.
I love that so much. Thank you for sharing your testimonial. What did you what did you think about all the wineries?
Oh my gosh, that was my first time doing like a real big girl West Coast
Oh
winery.
my
I had been
gosh.
to
Did
some
you love
on the
it?
East Coast. I loved it. I had so much fun. Although honestly, like I mean the wine was fantastic, but I was so busy chatting and making friends that like the wine was almost the afterthought because
I love
I was like meeting like my friend Susie, my friend Joanne, my friend Andy and Shaggy. Like everyone was incredible there.
I love
Pooja. Oh
dude,
my god, I have so many people.
dude, that is like the best review ever. Like when you're in Napa or when you're in Sonoma and the wine is the afterthought. Like
Yeah, literally.
I'm gonna put that on our website.
Please
Yeah.
do. And then in Vale, is there what can I expect in Vale? Tell me a bit about Vale.
Oh man. Okay. So I don't think we have really released the details about it yet, but it is gonna
Okay.
be at the Four Seasons this year because it's gonna be ultra bougie. And we have it's going to be pretty similar setup. So Thursday night is going to be a welcome reception, a welcome cocktail reception at the Four Seasons, and then we're going to have like a casual dinner after. We're going to have heavy apps there, but like I'm sure everybody will want to experience like the bar scene right off the bat cuz it really does feel like, especially now that you've gone to one retreat, the next time it feels like a reunion. Like everyone's
Mm,
like saying hi and hugging, like um because when you are in each other's like vicinity, proximity for all day, every day for those days, like, and then you're sharing the struggles, you
mm-hmm,
become instant besties. So that's on Thursday. Friday it's going to be just a half day of conference, like more breakout style too,
mm,
so that we can have like our small group discussions. And then we're going to have a scavenger hunt in downtown Vail. Did you ever watch the American, or not the American, the Amazing Race?
Oh my gosh, I like know about the show. Yes, I've like seen clips of it before.
So we're gonna have it's gonna be a competition. We're going to break out into smaller groups and then have little clues where you guys have to find it, come together, take a photo as proof that you achieved that, and then you go to the next
Mm.
clue. So it's going to be fun. And then the second day, we are doing the same thing, but we have our details to still be hammered out. But our goal is there is a like a private ranch that we're like
Oh
nestled in the mountains, and we're
my
have like our own experience there as a small group. And
Wait,
Vale, if you
how
saw
many
any of
hours are we at the ranch? Is it like an overnight thing or is it?
not an overnight thing, so it's just a few hours, and then
Okay, got it.
uh, come back, and then dinner, and then is that the finale dinner? Yeah. No, yes, finale dinner, and then we'll have dinner is outside under the stars, weather permitting, and like there's a huge fireplace.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then we're gonna after dinner service, we're gonna be escorted into like the ballroom again with the DJ and dancing. And you guys missed the dancing.
Yes, this year I
Oh,
don't have to because like of the way that the days are scheduled, I can like stay the whole time,
okay.
which is awesome. And can I just say too, the thing that is so incredible about this retreat is the types of people that you attract. We are all like the same wavelength, right? And so I've never felt like more safe in a group to like open up. I feel so like excited for the friends I'm gonna see again, but I'm also excited for the friends I haven't even met yet that I'm going to leave with. And it's just like this really, I don't know how to describe it besides like I imagine this is how you know how some people do those like hippie trips where they like go out and do like ayahuasca with
Yes.
people. I feel like this is
Yes.
like dental ayahuasca because like I just know I'm gonna leave feeling so like I cried out all my tears, I laughed so hard, I it's just such a deeply emotional and transformational experience. And it's just we are a field of people that have so much pent up like energy and emotion, so it'll be like a release almost.
I oh man. And these people, they know how to release.
Wait, can you tell me a little bit more about like what the speakers or what to expect? Any sort of
Yes.
hints?
So I have Andy is confirmed.
Yay! I love her. She's
And
fantastic.
oh my gosh, I actually was on the phone with her this week, and she is
Mm.
pumped and I am pumped. Like she's like, "Girl, my schedule is crazy, but I am coming this year." And then like 2
Yes.
days later she flies to Paris. I'm like, "Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh."
god. Listen, that sounds so Andy. I wouldn't expect anything else for her. That girl. She's awesome.
So Andy's going to be there, and then Scott Luna is coming back.
Mm-hmm. I loved him too.
We have Rob Ritter, and he is
Mm-hmm.
going to be he has his own course. It's called the Protocol, but I look up to Rob so much. Like anything that you think about, like that you want in your practice, he's already thought of it and he's done it.
Wow.
And it's like the systems that he's created, like I when I went to the protocol, it was phenomenal. And we're
Mm.
seeing if his partner Chris Ramsey can attend too, but I think for now it's just him. And then we have Josh Scott again, um,
Oh, nice.
Studio 88, and he's always so impactful, like talking about growth. Oh yeah, so the theme this year is growth.
Love it.
So we're gonna talk about all things growth. Like, what does growth mean to you spiritually, emotionally, professionally? We always just are striving to be better.
Mm.
And then I have to confirm a couple more speakers for you. So sit tight, but it's going to be an amazing lineup. And we are building a lot more of just like that intimate breakout session that I think
Mm.
everybody really craves. Like
Mm-hmm.
having that like time to meet with your colleagues. And then we're also going to have it where it's like you're interchanging groups too. So you don't just so you basically meet everybody.
Good.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
I love that. I'm so excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see all my friends that may be listening that are out there, but I'm so excited for all the friends I haven't met yet. So, yay.
Oh my Yes, I'm excited that you are going to be coming back. And we talked about this like Connie and
Mhm.
I beforehand, but we have a new grad special that just because I mean, I really love like you guys are really are the future of our profession.
Aw.
And so um, we'll release the logistics of that. But if you are listening to this and you're a part of Connie's community, reach out to Connie and she'll give you all the deets. And then if you are a new grad and you're a part of the making of, and you want to come to the retreat for a discounted fee, then also reach out to us. Um, and also, if you're a member of LBD, gosh, I just want all the women to be at this retreat. It really it's like soul filling. Is that what?
Yes, yes, that's what I was trying to explain with the whole like you feel a release, but you also feel full. Like I feel enriched and
Yeah.
inspired. Like I walked away being so inspired by all of the women I met. Um, like not only just like the speakers, but like my friends that I made. I was like, wow, these are such cool. Like I want to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, well, that is, I'm so glad that you had a great time, Connie. And I'm
Mhm.
just so incredibly proud of what you're building and the impact that you have in our industry, especially with young women like rising stars. It really has been so inspiring to see your story, your story unfold and just, I mean, this is like your beginning, which is just so you're going to be like doing big things. And I'm just so incredibly proud of you.
Thank you so much for saying that. To be honest, like I think this is just how everyone feels when you hear other people say that. Like it doesn't feel like that for me, right? Like for me, I just wake up, try my best, come back and repeat. And so to hear someone that I look up to say that, it is so like out of body. So thank you so much because I needed to hear that, truthfully. Thank you.
Well, you're doing amazing things. And anytime you need a pick me up, girl, just text me and say, like, tell me how awesome I am. And I
I
will
will.
come running. I will.
Thank you,
I
I
will.
will.
You have
I'm
my
gonna take you up
permission.
on
Yeah.
that.
Right. Connie, where can people connect with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on my Instagram page at Dr. Connie Wang, or you can also find my podcast, which is it's at Just a Quick Pinch. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. It comes out on Tuesdays, and the associated newsletter, which goes more into details, the nitty gritty. It's a good reading piece. Is in your inbox if you sign up for my emails. That comes out on Wednesdays.
Awesome. Thank you. And then we need to take our selfie.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Okay, and then big smile. Yay. Thank you so much, Connie. I cannot wait
Thank
to see you in
you.
a few months.
I
Dude,
know.
Vail is like three 3 months away, 4 months.
Yeah, because I thought it was going to be in November, and then I looked, it's actually September. So I'm like, wow, it's coming up. I'm so excited.
Yep, September 19th to the 21st. So mark your calendars. Reach out to us if you are a new grad and we'll see you guys in Vail.
Yay, bye.
All right, take care guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.